The following non-nominated, non-award-winning program is rated D for dumb.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 332, I think it is, of Dumbing It Down with Dave. A carcast and a dumbcast and a podcast. Are you ready to dumb it down? What timing? What timing? I don't know if that's good timing or bad timing, but it's timing. Nonetheless, Dave, what's the most important thing in comedy and in podcasting? Timing. Do you have any? Yes. Is it good? I don't really know. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you being here, regardless of how you got here. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for tuning in to Dumbing It Down with Dave. My name is Dave Canyon. I'm your one and only solo podcast host of this show, and there will be nobody else on appearing in the next half hour to potentially 45 minutes or who knows how long. And it is a show that is about pragmatism to a certain extent. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. So what does that mean? Well, that means I was diagnosed. There is no medical diagnosis. There is no medical diagnosis of pragmatism. It's not like like I got ADD or something like that, or OCD. I'm a pragmatic. A therapist said that to me, and I took it and I ran with it. I am, in fact, a pragmatic, and it answers a lot of questions. It doesn't really solve any problems. It answers a lot of questions. Why am I this way? Why do I react? Why do I say? Why do I do? It's not the answer to everything, but it answered a lot. It definitely was the key that opened the door. The thing is, once I've opened the door to the world of pragmatism, I'm like, well, now I got to deal with this. But at least I know what room to go into, right? You got these doors. So I didn't know that my door was the pragmatic door. It could have been, a multitude of doors, an OCD door, whatever. There's a lot of doors. My door was pragmatic. Truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Well, yeah, I like the truth. I like happiness and the search for it all, because they always say the journey. It's more of the journey than anything else. When you get there, you might not be as happy, or you might be happy, but eventually be like, man, I really had fun during that journey. So I am having fun during the journey, pretty much. Sometimes it's not so much fun. Sometimes these episodes go dark. Sometimes I go pretty dark. Sometimes it is a multitude of potential emotions and so many things that happen on this podcast. So people like to say, Dave, you got to get to it. Well, this is the getting to it. I'm explaining to those who haven't been here before, and for those who have been here before, sometimes we forget. Why am I here? Why do I do this? Do I do this to hear myself speak? I would honestly say no. Although that is something I have criticized other people for, and that is something that I'm sure people have criticized me. Oh, that Dave Canyon, boy, he never shuts up. He loves to hear himself talk. No, that's not really true. I do like the exploration of human behavior. I like to discuss, the politics that are going on in the world, the economy, the culture, health, so many different things, and I like having a dialogue with you. That's why I encourage you to engage. I always encourage to engage with this show through the Spreaker chat box. If you happen to be listening on Spreaker, you know that there's a Spreaker chat box. So thank you very much for chatting in there. I have listeners like Linda from McCall, Idaho, who's been a regular for 330 some odd episodes. Sometimes Gail Nobles is there every so often from her podcast. She has several. Bearcat, I like to plug her. She has a great Southern narrative. Love that voice. And she has her musical podcast. Look up Gail Nobles, Gail Nobles. And God forbid, if it's Gale, I'll feel terrible. But I'm pretty sure it's Gail. But look for Nobles, you'll find it. And sometimes Hal Aaron Cohen remembers to comment after he listens. He tells me he listens, and then he doesn't comment. Then I get angry. I get upset. Why? Because he's a friend, in quotations. Is he a friend? Well, He's a guy I know, and he has a podcast, and he says he listens. So I have to believe him. If he doesn't listen, then whatever. What am I going to do? And then there's a whole multitude of other people. There used to be a guy named Luke. Luke would listen to the show, and he would comment. He hasn't been around for a while. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something. Am I angry at him? I'm not angry at him. I'm disappointed. I wish he would be listening. I like when once upon a time I had like 7, 8, 10, 12 different people listening every show and commenting and engaging. It's the engaging that I like. And I like to have a dialogue with all of you because I don't see you socially, right? I don't see you socially. One of the things that podcasting solves to a certain extent, although I do believe it also enables. But let's go with the solving. It solves the thing that I can't see you in a room. I can't be with you. But Dave, you could just be on Zoom. I know, but it's always been my dream to have a talk show, like Johnny Carson. I grew up in that era. I'm very curious. I have this deep curiosity. It's an ongoing, never-ending curiosity of all things. So there's no subject that I can't talk to because everything is fascinating to me because it's all a part of life. I'm not specifically a religious person, so it's not all about the Bible and Jesus and God and Judaism and Islam and Christianity. For me, it's life. We're here. We're now. We've been. We're going to be. And my pragmatism and my curiosity together drives me. It drives me to the next minute, the next hour, the next day, and the next question, and it just never stops. So my brain used to be worse. I used to be never able to rest. Oh, my God. I remember my therapist and I working on this for years not years, but we worked on it for years, but I think we solved it. I don't remember how quickly we solved it within, 10 sessions. I don't remember how many sessions. But the point being that once upon a time, I couldn't rest. My brain was constantly going. I can only imagine the damage that I've done to my brain, to my body, because of my inability to cope and my poor diet. My high sugar, high carb, low protein diet. It's just amazing at the age of 60, looking back now, how I perceive the life that I've led. And I will say this, I've said this to my wife several times. I feel very fortunate, very lucky, very blessed to be alive. Dave, you're exaggerating. No, I really believe that the potential was there for diabetes. The potential was there for heart attack, for stroke, for just everything and anything that could kill a guy. Passing out, and I'm a truck driver, passing out and having some terrible accident or falling or just being attentive to detail and, electrocuting myself. Not that I'm an electrician. Or just doing something really, really horrible. I really do, honestly, feel very fortunate, lucky and blessed, and thankful, grateful, gracious, all those positive things to be alive today to talk to you. How do you feel, by the way? How do you feel about being alive every day? We all have different stories. Where are you in your story? Are you okay with it? Are you happy about it? Do you wish things could be better? Do you excuse me, I'm choking on fish. I should take a water break. Let me take a quick water break here. I got a big water bottle here. Oh, delicious. I have one of those big blue 50-ounce cups my wife bought me. You put a tray of ice cubes in the morning with some water. Oh, my God, that thing lasts all day. It's cold water all day long. It's unbelievably delicious. If I drink a lot of water, then I have to refill it. But the ice cubes seem to last. So I love this cup. Anyway, so just describing, what I just did. So, yeah, are you upset? Are you sad? Are you happy? You don't have to spill the beans and just do whatever you want. It's a free engagement. You can also email me at dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. dumbingitdownwithdave@yahoo.com. You can also call. But Dave, I don't want to write. I just want to call and leave an anonymous message. Okay, you can do that. Leave a voicemail at 347-338-8487. What? That number, once again, operators are not really standing by, but there's an automated system. It'll take care of you. 347-338-8487. Yeah, leave a message. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. Try to keep it clean. And most likely, if it has anything to do with anything that we've been talking about, I will play it on the air. I would be more than happy to download it and put it on to the next show. If you've been missing the shows, feel free to go back another couple of episodes. And, if you go back 10 episodes because you just caught onto the show and you leave a voicemail pertaining to that show, let me know what episode, by the way. Yeah, that's something I should mention I should always mention. Mention the episode you're pertaining to, because believe me, I don't remember 5 episodes ago, 2 episodes ago. I couldn't tell you right now what the last episode was titled. And I just did it like 8 days ago, 9 days ago. I couldn't even tell you. That's how bad my brain is sometimes. So yeah, I am on now. I just left Poughkeepsie, New York. I'm in my Dodge Caravan, by the way. In the intro, it says that I'm in my Kia Rio, my 2008 Kia Rio, which I just put a lot of money in and I had it repaired. There was a muffler issue, an exhaust issue, so everything from the catalytic converter back, and I had an oxygen sensor issue. I wasn't going to pass inspection, and I got that, so it cost me $840 to keep this $2,000 car alive. And a couple of weeks or months before that, I put $1,000 some odd dollars into this. So I'm really at the end of the Kia as far as investing money to keep it alive. I got to admit, the ROI, as they say, the return on investment, is diminishing, as they say. But let's talk about this. I was talking about health. Now I'm going to talk about my Kia Rio. It's another segment because it's a car cast in a podcast and a dumbcast. It's 3 different shows in one, but you are only not paying for the one. However you're listening to this, you're listening to it for free. But I'm doing 3 different shows. So the last thing I'm going to do with this Kia, once I get back to work, I've been on a seasonal layoff. I haven't had really an income except for unemployment, which really isn't a lot. It's enough, well, not really enough, but it's enough to, for now. I'm going to get my air conditioning put back in there. It's going to cost me about $1,000. And I'm going to get air conditioning in there because why not? Oh, but Dave, it's the 2008. It's 16 years old. Why would you want to put $1,000 of air conditioning in a car that could crap out on you any day? You know what? Because this is the devil I know. This is the car that I like. It's 30 some odd miles to the gallon, and it rides great. Whatever. It does everything I want it to do. It's a 4-seater, but I only need the 1 seat because nobody ever rides with me. Sometimes maybe one other person, but really, no. I could take out all the other seats and just build a mini camper. I really wish that I had the guts to do that I had the skills to be a carpenter, right, and figure out how can I make it that I could make this Kia Rio a rolling, it already is a porta potty, right? Porta for portable and potty short, that's British for a podcast mobile, a podcast car, right? A podcast, mobile podcasting, a potty, right? Porta potty. And it would be great. I think it would be the cutest porta potty, and it's gold or tan or beige or whatever the color it is, and I would make it a totally different color, probably green and red, like the Dumbing It Down with Dave artwork that I have. Green for the exit sign, red for the shirt that I'm wearing, it's also green light, red light, that type of thing, because it's a mobile podcast. Because I'm usually doing it in my car while I'm driving, New York State Thruway. But I'm not on the New York State Thruway right now. I'm on a road called, I think I'm on 9G, or 9, whatever, 9W, no, not 9W, 9N, 9G. It's a 9, I know that. And I'm heading north from Poughkeepsie. I'm coming from go-kart practice. Go-kart practice, yes. I'm go-karting this year. So let me tell you about that. Now it's a kart cast. It's a kart cast, and a car cast, and a dumb cast, and a podcast. Last year, first of all, it's always been my dream. We all have dreams. We have silly dreams. We have crazy dreams. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a cowboy. I want to be a Cinderella. I want to be a beauty queen. I want to be whatever. Whatever anybody wants to be. I'm not saying I want to be a beauty queen. I'm saying everybody has different dreams. So, as a little boy, it was always my thing to race cars. I had Matchbox cars. I had Hot Wheels. I had Johnny Lightning. I'd watch racing on TV, on ABC Wide World of Sports, the Indy 500, the Daytona 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, you name it. If it was racing, I was watching it. And back before I had cable, back before, when I was at the mercy of the networks ABC, CBS, and NBC. And they would always show previously recorded, edited races. And it was, frustrating. Very rarely would you get a live event. And, and by the way, I'd be at the mercy of my parents. How many TVs do you think we had in the house? None. One. I had to be home for it. I had to be able to read the TV guide or see a previous commercial. When you're a little child, your perception of time, other than what they tell you in school, by the way, I've never thought about this until just now. So now we're doing a school cast. We're doing an educast. Think about this. When you're a little child, how aware are you of the 12 months of the year? I mean, yeah, you're aware. Eventually you learn January, February, March, and you could do the whole 12 months. You could do the 7 days of the week. But how aware are you of a little child how far are you from Easter? Maybe if you're in school, you have an idea how far you are from Easter because you got Easter break. You know how far you are from the summertime. You know how far you are from going back to school, right? You know how far you are from Christmas and I guess New Year. I guess there are certain... And your birthday, right? And your birthday. So yeah, you do have an awareness of time and dates and all that other stuff. But what about those special events like the Daytona 500 or the Indy 500 or the Monaco Grand Prix? I got to be honest with you. I don't think I knew one day from the... I didn't know. My father wasn't the guy. I didn't know when baseball season started. I just knew it started. Oh, I guess it started. But I didn't know March was like catchers and pitchers in spring training. I didn't even know there was spring training. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know there was football preseason. I didn't know why. I just knew that one day they'd be like, oh, it's going to be the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio game. There was a game. Whatever. It was Canton, Ohio. Okay, I don't know what that means, but it's in Canton, Ohio. There's going to be a Pro Football Hall of Fame football game. I just remember in the TV guide. The TV guide I understood. That was 7 days a week. I understood that, and it helped me learn the hours of the week. I mean, the hours of the day. I knew that at 7 a.m. I better be in front of that TV, and I knew which channel to tune in because I wanted to watch Johnny Quest, or I wanted to, watch Speed Racer or I Dream of Jeannie or whatever it was. So, but I would, watch these races. I became a fan. I had all my cars. My mother would always buy me, every time I was sick, she'd stop by the store, she'd get me a Matchbox car to make me feel better. And I was elated. I loved Matchbox cars. I loved playing with my cars. In lieu of my father playing with me, I played with cars. And I created a whole life, a whole scenario, a whole thing going on. I couldn't get enough. If I could only have gotten graded in school based on my car play, I would have been the valedictorian of car play. I knew all the car stories. By the way, how fascinating would it be to know what was I saying? What was I thinking? What was I doing? What was I creating? I have no idea. I had blocks too. I had blocks. All right, we're doing a kid cast. Okay, we're doing a toy cast. So I had these blocks. I had the arches. I had the square blocks. I had the rectangular blocks. I was building bridges and roads. My math was great because I would help my father with his business with the coins, and I had the squares, the rectangles, the arches, the half circles, the full. I had it all going on. Let me tell you something. My world, as uneducated as I felt I was, or as small as my vocabulary was, because my parents were deaf and they didn't talk to me, my sign language was excellent for a 6-year-old child, and unfortunately, you don't grade it. You don't get graded on that. I didn't get graded on my sign language. Nobody gave me credit for knowing another language. I went to yeshiva. What's yeshiva? Yeshiva. I went to yeshiva, a Hebrew school, for 3 years, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. Nobody graded me on my ability to know Hebrew, read Hebrew, write and read Hebrew. So I'm doing English, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm doing the numbers. I got cars. I got blocks. I got Hebrew, right? And I got sign language. Not one adult, not my family, right? Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, uncle. Not one school official said, something about your son is interesting, other than he's interesting. Does anybody realize that he's way ahead? I'm laughing because it's if you don't laugh, you cry. But nobody said, do you realize that this child is way ahead of all the other children? There's no other child here that knows 3 languages. I mean, in yeshiva, everybody knew Hebrew. All the kids knew Hebrew because we were learning it 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, first, second, and third grade. And they all knew English too. But none of them knew sign language. I was the only one that had a third language. Now, somebody might have been in that school that wasn't really, really Jewish, because I guess that wasn't a criteria. I didn't find that out until many, many years later. But I know somebody that came from an Italian household. Their mother or father could have spoken Italian. But I don't know that. I'm just saying it's pretty obvious when my mother came to school, because I was behaving poorly, because I was bored out of my mind, probably because I found, I don't know, whatever. I don't want to say. I was bored out of my mind. I hated school. This woman's deaf? Oh, that's why the grandmother's here too? Because she needs an interpreter. And then they would say, this kid has so much potential if he would just apply himself. Yeah, you know what? He's applying himself at home, interpreting for his parents. Nobody said that either. Dave, is this whole podcast going to be about you, wah, about your childhood? No, it's not wah, but it's all about the human behavior. It's interesting how we don't perceive, how we don't know, how we don't see. We don't say. We don't see, we don't say. So I'm laughing because it's funny. I look back now and go, wow, it would have been really amazing if somebody had said, wow, you know what? Yeah, we never really did see that in him. He was kind of already ahead of the game. And somehow, if we had said that to him, or if we found a way to tap into this, I'll say the word brilliance. Obviously, I'm not saying brilliant. I'm saying, this level of ability, right? There is brilliance in that. Brilliance doesn't mean I'm brilliant. I'm saying in that level of brilliance, this guy can do some things, some stuff. And he spins a good yarn when it comes to his cars. And he's great with blocks. Dave, we were all great with blocks. Yeah, but I was building bridges and roads and cities and tunnels. I never did the Legos, though. I don't remember my mother and father buying me Legos. So anyway, I'm go-karting. That's it. I think that was part of it. The whole thing was that I'm go-karting. And I'm coming home from go-kart practice. And what's great about my year so far is that I've done maybe in 3 practices, I've been averaging, at least 60 laps per practice. Dave, is that a lot? Daytona, they do 100. That's in a car. Yeah, it's all relative. Today I did 60 laps. I could have done 80 or 100 if I got there on time. I got there an hour late. That's my fault. Because I'm a procrastinator still. I'm still procrastinating. And I didn't get to the track until 5 o'clock. I was supposed to be there at 4. Okay. Well, I'll try to do better. I always say that, and I do. I always try to do better. I will do better. But last year, what's great about this year is that all 3 practices, this is my 3rd one, I've been doing 60 laps, 70 laps, 80 laps. A year ago, I would go to the track, same distance, right? I travel just as far. I have the same car. Everything was the same, except I could only do about 3 or 4 laps. And that I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating in that helmet. I hated it. People say, oh, you're having fun. No. I'm barely alive. I'm dying out there. I can't breathe. And then everybody would give me advice. Oh, exhale, inhale into the turn, exhale out of the turn. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll try it, but I don't know if I can do that. I feel like, anyway. It turns out I think I had a bad helmet. I think I had bad gloves. I know I had bad gloves. My gloves this year were so much better. I have a better grip. I was spending a lot of energy extending. I was using up a lot of energy just holding on to the steering wheel. I mean, that's, when you're holding on for dear life, and those were the words I was using. How's it feel? How do you feel out there? I'm holding on for dear life. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in the turns. I'm doing 50 to 70 miles an hour. I'm out of my mind. Yeah, I was afraid. Not afraid of going fast. I was afraid of damaging the cart. I was afraid of. It was just a lot, holding on to that steering wheel. But this year, I lost 50 pounds. I've lost 50 pounds. Last year, I was in the mid-290s, 297. Now I'm down to 248, 247. It's about 50 pounds. I got another at least 20 pounds to go, maybe more. And I feel great. My core is stronger. when you're in that turn and you're on the gas pedal, full throttle, I don't lift. They call that lifting when you're 95, 90, 75% throttle. I am full on I'm basically standing on the gas pedal. That's what other karters have said. They are standing on the pedal. I don't lift. I'm full speed around the turns. This is like a safety pin, like a clip, paper clip, not safety pin. Yeah, I don't know, like a paper clip. That's what this track is like. Look at Poughkeepsie Speedway on Google Maps. You'll see it. Tell me what you think. Is it an oval? I think it's like a paper clip. It's like a paper clip. And yeah, the turns are tough. But this year I'm doing 20 laps at a time. And I'll be honest with you, my first 20, no problem. But when I went out there for the second time, I was like, ugh, like I'm not racing, I'm just practicing. I'm already getting to the point where I'm a little tired of practicing. But you know what? I tell myself, Dave, you know what you need? Because Dale Earnhardt used to say this. Are you familiar with Dale Earnhardt? I think he used to say this. I'm going to say he said it because it makes me feel good. But I think he said it. I think every race car driver will say it. You know how you get better? You got to do laps. You got to do laps. LAPS, laps, not LAPSE. You got to do laps. You got to get out there and you got to do laps. And this year I'm doing laps. I'm doing 20 at a time. Qualifying, when you do heat races, I think it's like 6 or 8 laps, something like that. It's less. But at the end of the day, whatever day you're racing, the feature race, the big headline race is 20 laps. In my division, it'll be 20 laps. Last year, I was pulling off the track after 4 or 5 laps, and I couldn't wait to get that helmet off my head. I couldn't breathe, and I was doing it by myself. There was nobody there to help me with the helmet. I go to the track by myself. So this year I'm doing 20 laps. My core is stronger. It could be even stronger. I love when I do these practices. It's a wake-up call. Dave, you got to do more jumping rope. You got to do more boxing. You got to do more core work. You got to get that cardio better. If you lose another 10, 20 pounds, you're going to be awesome. And then my tires are getting a little bit older. I'm going to get fresher. I got new tires. I'm going to get different tires. And I'm going to get a new engine eventually this year. And I'm going to be even faster. And it's going to be fantastic. So I'm excited about that. So this year, I'm going karting. And I'm having a good time. And it's a hobby of mine. It's a dream of mine. When I used to play with my cars, not only did I have Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars, I had Corgi. I had all these different types of cars. But I also had Aurora AFX. I had slot car racing, not the big slot cars, the smaller, the HO, I think that's HO style. Tyco made them and Aurora AFX made them. Do you remember that? I had them, and I still have my tracks. I still have my tracks, and one of these days I'm going to set it up in my garage, and my buddy Sal will come over, and we will race Aurora AFX. And my wife will come out one day and go, "Are you 12? Are you 12? No, I'm 60 plus, but how great it is to be 60 and go-karting." And these are not amusement park go-karts, folks. Get on the Facebook group, the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group, and I'll post a picture or two or video of me go-karting. Maybe I'll post something on Twitter, on X. Where are you? Tell me where you are, and I'll try to go where you are. Probably TikTok, right? And all of that other stuff, but yeah, it's going to be a full year of go-karting. And also, by the way, I'm mixing it with the go-karting. I'm still running. I'm running again. I'm running 5Ks. I'm running half marathons. It's all to qualify for the New York Marathon in 2025. I have a whole process that I'm going through with the New York Roadrunners, and I will be running. So there you go. It's going to be a one hell of a summer, and I'm back to work off my seasonal layoff on May 6th. Of 2024. So I'm going to do a half-hour episode today because I think, boy, I talked a lot. I talked fast. I hope I didn't talk too much and too fast for you. I hope it was interesting. Please engage with me one way or the other. I really love it when you don't just listen and walk away. Listen and engage. It really helps the show. I love the dialogue. good or bad. I love what you have to say one way or the other, all right? So thank you very much for tuning in to Dumbing It Down with Dave. I think this was episode 332, 338, and you know the number. Call. Bye. I might as well give you the number. 347-338-8487. How many 84s are there, Dave? 347-338-8487. Give us a call and engage with the show. Thank you. Bye.